Hi everyone, welcome back to JavaScript Bytes on Learn Awesome, where we solve JavaScript problems quickly. Today I'll show you how to fetch an image, convert it into a blob, and then transform that blob into a string. Sounds complicated? Don't worry, I'll break it down step by step, and by the end you'll totally get it. So let's jump in. But before we start coding, let's quickly understand what a blob is. A blob, a binary large object, is just a way to store large amounts of binary data, like images, audio, or video. It's not something you can just console log and see the image. It needs to be converted into a readable format first. Now that we know what a blob is, let's talk about Base64. So Base64 is a way of encoding binary data like an image into a text format. This is super useful when you need to store or send an image as a string in places that only accept text, like JSON APIs or databases. Alright, now that we know what we are working with, let's start coding. So here we are in Visual Studio Code, and I have created two files, one an HTML, image blob to string.html and blob to string.js. First, we need to add some boilerplate HTML to this HTML file. For that, I'm going to type HTML, select the second entry, and it's created. Give it a title. In the body, let's add a script tag and link to a blob to string.js file. We are done with the HTML. Let's head to blob to string.js and start adding our code. First thing, I'm going to add a fetch image function, and it's going to be an async function. And if you're not sure what async is, you can refer back to our channel where we have dedicated videos on async JavaScript. So right now we are fetching the image and logging the blob. But remember, blob is just raw binary data, so we can't see anything yet. So if I load this file in browser and open the console log, you see this is all it logs. Not something very practical or useful to work with. Since it was binary, it didn't log anything. But to make the image readable as a string, we'll use the FileReader API to convert that blob into a Base64 encoded string. Alright, so let's continue coding. So we can modify this fetch image since it's an async function. So we are going to use its .then function, which is going to return us a blob. And here we write our code. So FileReader API has a function read as data URL to read a blob as a temporary or internal URL. And then when it's done reading, onload end is called, and we are logging the result on console. So now let's open this file in our browser and check what we see. So here we are with the file loaded. So if I refresh it, yeah, with a pause to load the image, you can see the result. This is the Base64 encoded image that you are seeing. You can see it's quite a bit long. And as I mentioned earlier in my PowerPoint slide, it takes around 30% more space than its binary equivalent. So not so useful when it comes to disk space, but very useful to pass it around as a string. And that's it, guys. You have just learned how to fetch an image and convert it into a string using JavaScript. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. See you in the next one.